All right, we're ready to continue on with Ole Miss. We'll ask Coach Beard for some general thoughts on the game. Then we'll take your questions just for the two student athletes and excuse them back to the locker room, and then finish up with Coach. So, Coach Beard?
I always wonder what Buzz is doing during the games. No, in terms of the basketball game, tell you what we told our team just a few minutes ago. It was much better effort than we had the other day in Oxford. We played Texas A&M 3 times this year, beat them in College Station. Just did not play well at all in Oxford. Not take anything away from their effort the other day. They played well, but I thought tonight was one of those games where just thought we ran out of time. You know, got it back to one possession with about 2 minutes left, and then couldn't get the stop. And so now you got to score the next time down. Now it becomes a fouling game, pressing game, hoping for a missed free throw. We just didn't have any fortune there. But thought our guys played really hard tonight and well in a lot of ways. Obviously, rebounding was a challenge for us all season. And our season kind of ended on a note where, you know, once again, that was a weakness of our team. We'll have to do a better job coaching that and teaching it and ultimately recruit better to it as well. Free throw line wasn't great to us tonight. But I thought rebounding was the difference in a hard-fought game. So I was proud of our effort, especially considering Saturday was kind of a different type game. Guys did a good job responding and getting ready to play tonight. So that's kind of the thoughts on the basketball game.
All right, let's take questions for either of the student athletes. If you have a question for either, raise your hand, and we'll get one of the remote mics to you. Hands up. Let's go ahead and start in the middle aisle.
Jamin, what are you going to kind of remember the most about this year's team and journey?
Yeah, I mean, I love this group. Obviously, I had a chance to have my hand in the recruiting, which I love. I mean, it's been a great group of guys that's been around me, but I'm just going to remember them for the journey that we had on and off the court for sure.
Other questions? If you'll raise your hand for either. Okay, let's go to the left side on the aisle.
This is for either or both of you. Coach talked about how you were dominated on the boards. They out-rebounded you. Can you talk? Was that just due to their physicality, or what could you have done better?
Jamin, would you go first?
Yes, sir. Obviously, we had a game plan, and just not following that down the stretch it really hurt us. And then what we shot from the free throw line tonight really hurt us.
Yeah, honestly, just like he said, it was mostly rebounding. One of our downfalls was boxing out. We've been trying to work on that. Obviously, we didn't come through with that tonight, and honestly, I think that was a big part of that.
Other questions for either? All right, fellas, we'll excuse you. You can return to the locker room. Thank you. Okay, we'll continue on with Coach Beard. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get one of the remote mics to you. Let's go ahead and start right on the front row on the right side. Yeah, front row, right side.
Coach, kind of talk bigger picture a little bit. Obviously, you know, not the outcome that you wanted, but overall, Ole Miss athletics is in a great position, and you guys are just adding to that with the excitement around basketball. Portal opens up on, I think, Monday. Are you guys going to be participating in an NIT or any type of postseason tournament? And what does the future kind of look like, bigger picture for Ole Miss basketball?
Yeah, portal's open now. A lot of players already in it with the coaching changes and all. Guys get fired and guys change jobs. A lot of players are already in it, and then I believe Monday is the date that it opens up the next level of players. So your question about the athletic department, can't agree more. It's just an exciting time to be at Ole Miss. I've been fortunate in my career. I've been at a lot of great institutions and have enjoyed other people's success. But this is different. You know, what Lane's doing with football, it's just exciting for everybody. Coach Yo and women's basketball, looking forward to watching their run this month. And, of course, baseball, one of the top teams in the country, right? Won the national championship a couple years ago, and Olympic sports. So there's just a lot of momentum on campus, and those things don't happen by accident. You know, it always starts with your leaders, and we have a special chancellor. Chancellor Boyce is he's a leader. He values the student athletes, and of course Keith Carter, athletic director, is special. It's just cool working with and for Keith because, you know, he played this game at a high level. Great administration. In today's world, the name, image, and likeness, I really enjoy and appreciate all the effort the Grove Collective puts into Ole Miss and the alumni, the donors. I agree. It's a really exciting time right now, a lot of momentum. And simply stated, what we're trying to do with men's basketball is to do our part. And I think this year, there'll be other times to talk about that. Obviously kind of emotional about the game today, but we had some success this year. Attendance, student section. Proud that 2 guys will graduate this spring and a couple other guys will complete some graduate work. So I think we laid the foundation. Is the culture completely built yet? I would say no, but it's going in that direction, and just got to get to the point where we build it and we start defending it. But lots of positives this year. To be ranked in the top 25 several weeks in the poll, to beat some really good teams along the way this season that will be playing in March Madness, to establish a home court advantage. Just a lot of things in Oxford that I'm really proud of. Ultimately, there's a scoreboard, and we came to Ole Miss to win tournaments like this and to play beginning next weekend. And we'll just keep working towards that. It's a process. As much as we'd all like it just happen overnight, sometimes it happens a little bit quicker than others, but I think we're going in the right direction. I have a lot of confidence in our staff and our players, our administration, and really our fan base. It's one of the coolest places I've ever coached. There's a spirit around Ole Miss and in Oxford and the state of Mississippi, so it's a really cool place to coach.
Question on the far right.
Chris, just to follow up on that, but if you guys received an NIT bid, would you accept it?
Yeah, I can't, guys. I right now I'm just thinking about that last block out. Where we cut it to 3 points and Radford got fouled. So I think there'll be a different time sooner than later to talk about that. Just not in a position to be really thinking about that right now.
Do you have a question down front? Yeah, left side.
Yeah, Buzz went on kind of a rant there right before you came in about the block charge and how it's affected being able to defend and scoring and all those things. As a defensively minded coach, how do you think it has affected college basketball this year? Is it a good thing or a bad thing, or just something you're going to have to get used to and figure out?
I always enjoy Buzz. Buzz got podcast and all sorts of stuff going on, so I didn't hear what he was saying, but college basketball changed this year with the block charge, and I think everybody in our game, officials, coaches, players, are trying to kind of figure it out. There was some frustrating moments this season with that, but again, it's a new rule, and we just continue to adjust to it.
Next question down front.
Okay, just kind of follow up. You mentioned Mississippi and really in particular being a special place. I want to ask you about the same. I mean, we're seeing success all across the board in basketball, Southern Miss, and of course Mississippi State and you guys. Just talk about what makes this state so special, and also when you're sitting in those recruiting rooms and the in-state talent, talk about what you tell them to come to the flagship university to play at the University of Mississippi.
You got really good coaches and players in the state right now. Jay's a friend of mine. Jan's a friend of mine. These guys are really good at what they do. We played both of those teams this year, so really good players in the state as well. You think about all 3 teams have all conference type players in the 2 different leagues. There's also some other really good basketball, not just the 3 schools you mentioned. So I'd start with that, and then what I've been really impressed with in my short time in Mississippi so far is the fan bases. There's a lot of people that care. You go down to the gas station and fill up. If there's a Mississippi State guy around, you'll know it. And if there's an Ole Miss fan or a Southern Miss fan, you'll know that too. So I think it's, it's a lot of passionate people in the state of Mississippi. All the programs are really well coached right now and good players. There's really good high school coaches in our state. There's good grassroots basketball. There's a lot of tradition. In a lot of ways, there's a lot of just kind of sneaky history in the state of Mississippi. Junior college basketball in the state is the best in the country, and so it's just a lot of opportunity for success in the state of Mississippi with our sport, basketball.
Next question, center aisle.
Chris, so we were just talking about the portal, and I know obviously you've had this year under your belt. Has this year been a good? I guess how have you been able to kind of assess what you think you'll need for next season based on, what you saw this year and the type of guys you had?
Yeah, I think that's the same every year. You kind of evaluate as the season goes on, and you certainly take some notes here and there that you're going to go right back to when the season's over. And obviously our staff learned a lot about the SEC, about these players that many of them we met in June. Some of them we didn't meet until September. So first year is always really challenging, but I think, where my heart and mind is just appreciation. I really appreciate the guys that played for Kermit and trusted us to come back to Ole Miss. I appreciate all the players that trusted our program with 1 year of eligibility left or maybe a couple. I really appreciate our fan base, our students. We really wanted to win today to just coach these guys another day. And, everybody's season ends up into a game like this. I've coached on that final Monday night of the season. I've coached on the Thursday before and been blessed, but it doesn't really matter where it ends. Only one team, has the confetti coming down on them. So this year, it ends a lot sooner than any of us would want it to end, period. And we had high expectations for this group, and I'll never apologize for that. I think it's the biggest gift you can give somebody is expectations. So we'll just continue to chip away, and recruit players that want to be coached and want to win, want to play at Ole Miss, want to go to class every day or every other day, some of these guys these days. So now the season's a journey, a lot of emotion at the end. I look back there at my two daughters, and, it's the same looks on their faces when we lost on Monday night. It doesn't really matter when you get kicked out of the party. When it ends, it stings a little bit, but I do have a lot of positive thoughts in my mind. I was really proud of the team today. Like we got kicked by Texas A&M just a few days ago, and we did a lot of soul searching. We had some good practice, some preparation. I think today was one of those games where we ran out of time. I don't think we got beat today. We ran out of time. We sure could have used a couple more minutes there down the stretch. But I was proud of our effort today. Obviously, the rebounding is what it is. That's not just the players, that's coaching as well. We have to do a better job of that, and we will.
We got time for one more question. We'll take it on the far right.
Chris,
Does the loser get like 8 minutes and the winner gets 45?
Not quite, but
how different do you anticipate your roster looking in November compared to the one you're leaving now?
Just in terms of the players or the style or the players? Yeah, I mean, drastically different. But I don't think there's any coach in the country that would tell you different. I think you can get 4 or 5 guys to return. That's going to be a huge advantage in college basketball now. The game has changed, and one thing we've always done is done a pretty good job of adapting, thinking ahead. Play offense, not defense, and we don't make the rules, but you can sit around, you can complain about them, or you can figure out how to win within the system, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Our coaching staff's already talking about recruiting 5 minutes after the SEC tournament ends for us. So, but yeah, our roster will look different, but I'm not sure that any coach could sit up here after the season and say, hey, we got everybody coming back, we're going to roll it back. That would be a special team if that happens.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys that followed us this season locally, man. Look forward to seeing you guys back in Oxford. Thank you.